What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to Picking a Fight. I'm Latch, and today we're going to be looking at UFC 280, Oliveira versus Makhachev. We're going to be looking at Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley. But before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't. We're putting out videos for almost every fight night and pay-per-view. So if you're looking for content like this, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. And let's get right into it. So we got number 1 ranked Petr No Mercy Yan. He is 16-3. He is 29 years old. He's 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. And he's coming off a loss to Aljamain Sterling, and before that was a win over Corey Sandhagen. And he is going up against Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's actually ranked number 11. He's 15-1. He's 27 years old. He's 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. And his last fight was a no contest against Pedro Munoz, and before that was a win over Paiva. And Sugar Sean O'Malley, surprisingly in my opinion, is coming in as a plus 255. Yan is a minus 305 favorite, so I think the odds should be a little closer. But yeah, I mean, let's get into the facts. So Sean O'Malley, he's a switch hitter. He likes to switch stances. He's very long. He's very lanky, and he uses his length very well in his combinations. He can throw a jab from either stance, and his jabs are very long. He uses his footwork to move in and out of range, and him being so long, fighters have not been able to close that range against him. He tends to have his stance very wide, which does leave him open to leg kicks that have, as we've seen before, that have hurt him. Paiva had a lot of success. Munoz was having a ton of success. I think in this matchup, his straight punches will be his key to victory. His 1-2 is very solid, and his side kicks to maintain distance, because we all know Petr Yan kind of has a very traditional boxing stance where he keeps his hands very high. He has a very high guard, leaves his body open for the kicks and the side kick, and he kind of plods forward. So Sean O'Malley should look for those 1-2s to kind of penetrate the guard through the middle. And obviously he's got very long hooks, so he could go around the sides. Can he be good enough to beat someone like Petr Yan, who's obviously fought, top tier competition in Corey Sandhagen and Aljamain Sterling and all those guys? Because I think Sean O'Malley has all the tools to win this fight. Petr Yan, he's more of a boxer. He fights in a southpaw stance, but he does switch every now and then. This will be a 3-round fight, and he is known as a slow starter. He usually gives up that first round to make some reads. But Petr Yan, his boxing is super crisp. A lot of people think he has the best. A lot of people think he has the best boxing in the UFC. It's hard to argue that. His combinations are super tight, and when he throws them with so much hate, and his hands are so fast. He's pretty powerful. I think he will have the power advantage in this fight. Believe it or not, I think Petr Yan needs to take a page out of Chris Moutinho's playbook. Because although I'm not saying they're in the same realm when it comes to skill, I think Chris Moutinho's style is the closest to Petr Yan's. And obviously Moutinho, that was a bad fight for him. You never want to be praised for your durability, and for him, he got beat up that fight. But there was a few things I think Petr Yan could take note of, and it was how Sean O'Malley dealt with the pressure. Moutinho kept coming forward, and O'Malley, I don't know if he was getting tired because of the output, but he was fighting on his back foot, which he did pretty well. But Moutinho wasn't really slipping and ripping, and wasn't as skillful enough to return and damage, make him pay for all those combinations, while Petr Yan will be able to do that. And Moutinho kind of plots forward like Petr Yan, except Yan obviously has, I think, a way better guard. His guard is super active when he's up there. Obviously, he's still gotten hit a lot, but not as much as people think, kind of like Marlon Vera. Their defense is super, super tight. So I do think he needs to kind of be the one pressing the issue, which I think he will be, because I don't think O'Malley minds fighting backwards unless he comes out super aggressive. But, Yan should take the approach that I think Chris Moutinho did. And obviously, Yan is a much faster fighter. No offense, but he's a bit smarter, and his defense is a lot better, because his high guard is susceptible to straight punches, like I said. But he has all the ability to make the reads and make Sean O'Malley pay, because Moutinho did land some shots on him. And I just think Moutinho didn't have the power to really make O'Malley pay. But Petr Yan I think he will be able to. But there's a lot of questions that are going to be answered, man. This is a very important fight for the bantamweight division. Obviously, Petr Yan right now is the number 1 contender. He's coming off 2 losses to the current champion, Aljamain Sterling. Sterling is also fighting on this card against TJ Dillashaw. And if Petr Yan can win this and Dillashaw wins, maybe he gets another shot at the title immediately. And if he doesn't, if Sterling wins, obviously he's already going to try to climb his way back up to get another fight. But I think the odds are really underestimating O'Malley's chances. Personally, I think O'Malley has all the tools to win this. And so I'm going to have to go by O'Malley by decision. I think Petr Yan is going to once again hurt himself by starting extremely slow, especially because we've seen O'Malley come out the gates blazing. And so I think if he takes that first round, it's going to be very difficult for Jan to turn it up immediately and win the second round convincingly, and then the third after he makes all his reads against O'Malley, where, you know, Jan's going to have to be the one to close the range. O'Malley's so long and tall and lanky. I just don't think he will be able to do it in time. You know, I honestly think this fight is not going to be the most action-packed fight. I think O'Malley's going to come out blazing and win the first round. I think the second one's going to be pretty close, but I think O'Malley's going to take it. And I mean, I could see Jan dominating the third, you know, once he gets into rhythm, but I think by then it'll be too late. So I'm going to have to go O'Malley by decision. I'm going to go ahead and take the underdog on this fight. And yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Do you think I'm underestimating Petr Yan? Do you think I'm giving the Suga Show way too much credit? Let me know down below on how you think this fight is going to go. And yeah, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. Go ahead and check out our other videos. We actually did every other fight on this same card, including the main event and the co-main event. So go ahead and check those out if you haven't. It's going to be a great night of fights. Don't forget to tune in, man. And yeah, I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.